Hey, what's up, y'all? It's D about to react to this vid by Chrissy. It's titled Ethnic Nose Jobs Feature Blindness and Black Women, Glorilla and the Whoville Nose. The Whoville Nose is crazy. I did see people speaking about her getting a nose job. I need to get a better look at it. I didn't really get to see what it looks like per se to say if it looks bad or not. But yeah, this is a common thing where, you do have some black women who get their noses done because they feel like, they look too ethnic or they look too big. They get bullied basically into disliking their afro features, which is very sad, very unfortunate. But yeah, let's hear what she has to say. Let's watch.
So during my last live stream, the topic of plastic surgery came up, and y'all informed me of a conversation that was happening on TikTok about the Whoville nose jobs and black women rhinoplasties.
It's like,
and y'all also
pointed up
informed
too
me
high.
that Glorilla, the rapper, got a nose job. So I want to do a quick follow up and give my opinion.
See, the thing about it is her nose is still big, so that's the crazy part. There's nothing wrong with having a big nose, but it seemed kind of pointless to get this done when you still have a big nose. It just looks like a pinched big nose.
On all of that. And by the way, I moved all of the content from my second channel to my website, and that will be my secondary content space for good. So if you are interested in my content that is not race related, definitely check out my website. Also join my mailing list to be notified when new content drops. All of the links are in the description box. So let's get into the topic. So basically, a woman went viral on TikTok after sharing her nose job that did not look so good. And it sparked this whole discussion about black women's nose jobs or rhinoplasty.
It doesn't look horrible, but it does look a little off.
And literally right after that happened, Glorilla revealed that she got a nose job. And unfortunately, her nose job also doesn't look good. And this whole conversation really just made me think of how a lot of women, regardless of race, have surgery blindness when they get their features modified. We've all heard of filler blindness. And I personally believe that black women in particular have feature blindness when it comes to how they look. And that's with or without surgery. And it could even be a form of body dysmorphia. Now, obviously, I'm not qualified to diagnose anybody, but that's just what it seems like to me. And before any of you get upset and accuse me of attacking black women, I am making this video to help some of you become more aware of your features and your appearance. And I feel like we've all been through that phase
before. She did not need to do this to herself. This woman just needs a lot of, you know what? Like she said, I'm not here to diagnose nobody, but she was so cute. What? Why did you need to do that?
Our lives where we lack awareness when it comes to how we look. I went through that too when I was younger.
I'm appalled. I didn't know her nose looked like that before.
And I also want to make it clear that I am not totally against plastic surgery. I don't think all plastic surgery is anti-black or self-hating, but I do think that many of us unfortunately have feature and surgery blindness due to Eurocentric beauty standards. Absolutely. And when it comes to black women, I also think that it's the black male beauty standards as well. A lot of us are trying to look good for black men. And be clear, it's not just black women who get these modifications to look good for men. It's every race of woman, but I am a black woman. So right now I am speaking on us. And I do feel that some black women are going too far with the body modifications, and we don't know when we look back. Again, it's like white women who get too much filler in their faces and in their...
And also the problem is when you get your nose done, you do not need to contour on top of that because it really makes it look crazy. I would tell the makeup artist, don't contour my nose at all. Like, at all. Or if you have to, do it very, very lightly. This is not light nose contour.
Lips. And they start to look older. Or they start to look disconfigured because the filler starts to migrate to other areas.
I liked her nose. I think it fit her face better.
They have filler blindness.
Before.
And I really don't want this kind of lack of self-awareness to become the norm for black women when it comes to surgeries and the modification that we make to our bodies. Even when I look at most of the black women who get rhinoplasty, in most cases, they look better before with their original nose. But women like that either have feature blindness or body dysmorphia, so they don't see that.
I would say out of all the people, though, hers doesn't look as bad, her new nose. Everybody else's looks crazy. Hers don't look as bad. Well, in this picture, I can't speak on any other angles. But her original nose also looked nice as well, so she didn't need this at all. But I would say that they didn't go as extreme with her, and you could tell that a lot of this is contour as well. Like it's just super dark right here. Like they contoured the hell out of her nose on top of that.
Better before, or they just don't know when to stop when they start getting these plastic surgeries. This is very common with Black people who bleach their skin. They don't seem to know when their skin color starts to look too gray or ashy. There's a blind spot there, and they don't see what most people see. And the same applies to some Black women.
When you're this dark, you gotta go all the way.
Because instead of getting
otherwise it'll look patchy. I mean, it'll look a mess either way.
Version of their natural nose, they're getting noses that are typically seen on white women and non-Black women, when that isn't necessary to make their face look better or more symmetrical. Right. Because I think that's the goal here, for their face to look more symmetrical and proportioned. And let's also be real about this. Most people aren't getting
that nose just looks too little for her face.
Plastic surgery just for themselves. Because I know some of you are going to say, oh, well, it's not about how other people feel. It's about how they feel about themselves. And that's true, but that's not the only reason most people get plastic surgery. They're also getting it to look better to other people and to get outside validation as well. And again, it's all about symmetry and proportion when it comes to faces that most people find attractive. It's not usually the actual shape or size of the features. So a person can be very pretty with big or full features. And you can also benefit from pretty privilege with big or full features. And I'm being totally genuine when I say this, but I think that most everyday Black women have symmetrical, attractive faces. Now, obviously, some are more or less attractive than others, but in general, I personally find the average everyday Black woman to be attractive. I don't think that surgery is necessary for most Black women. And I have seen Black women and just women in general where I'm like, okay, I can understand why they wanted to get, a little modification to their faces. So I'm not in denial. But before making any drastic changes, ladies, I personally recommend that you work with what you have and learn what looks best on your specific face and enhance what's already there if you want to look more attractive. Wear flattering hair and makeup. Keeping yourself at an average or fit weight also helps improve your facial features. I agree with that. But look, if you've done all that and you still decide to get plastic surgery, it should still be flattering. And if you have no idea what that means, then ask other people. Like, if you don't know how to enhance your beauty, ask other people. Because even though I don't like how some of the Black women were responding to that lady on TikTok, a lot of them were telling her the truth. Maybe before you get any drastic changes to your body or your face, you might want to ask the people online. Because sometimes these plastic surgeons aren't going to tell you the truth. They're just going to give you what you want so they can take your money. Exactly. And some of these plastic surgeons also aren't skilled in ethnic rhinoplasties. So sometimes it's a matter of them just not knowing what they're doing like that. But just ask somebody that's going to tell you the truth, what you're planning to do. Show them the pictures that you're going to show your surgeon and be like, hey sis, would I look good with this nose? Would I look good with this lip filler? Would I look good with this breast size, with this new cup size? Would I look good if my butt were this big? Find some women that's going to tell you the truth before you go mess up your face, please. And I'm telling you now, when it comes to what is going to look the most flattering in terms of a rhinoplasty, your best bet is to get the smaller version of your natural nose. A subtle change is best. Patty LaBelle has a great nose job, in my opinion. Tiana Taylor has a decent nose job as well. And I think SZA had more than one nose job, but
I did not know Tiana got her nose done. Hers looked great.
Hers doesn't look terrible either. Like, I think the first...
Yeah, I don't mind SZA's nose either, but she puts on too much contour.
This one looked the best. But when it comes to SZA, I've seen worse. Now, many of you have said that Beyonce and Kelly Rowland have gotten nose jobs. I don't know about all that, but if they did, they look good. And I think all of those women I mentioned look good with their rhinoplasties because they went with a similar shape to their natural nose. They didn't try to make their noses look all pointy and upturned like the Whoville nose. A lot of Middle Eastern girlies also get their nose done. They get their dorsal humps removed or shaved off or however you describe it. And they pretty much leave the rest alone, usually. That's what I mean by a subtle, natural-looking change. Now, I have seen some of them go overboard too, but if they stop right after the hump is removed, you can barely tell they had anything done unless they tell you. Personally, I think undetectable, natural-looking surgeries look the best. And in my opinion, that is where women like Glorilla, Money Long, Lil' Kim, that's where they all went wrong. The changes were too drastic and unnatural. And it had the opposite effect of what was intended. And I said before that botching your body or your face as a woman is a bad social strategy because you just come off as someone who lacks in self-awareness. And people may not take you seriously because of that. Unless you're really, really good at whatever you do career-wise, that's the only thing that really offsets stuff like that. Michael Jackson comes to mind. He was really, really good at his music. So even though people talked about him, like, he was still very good at what he did. So it was like, okay, yeah, he has plastic surgery, but he's still like the greatest musician of all time. If you're gonna botch yourself, you gotta at least be very, very good at what you do for a living. That's all I'm saying. And also, the lack of self-awareness and beauty blindness doesn't just apply to plastic surgery ladies. Because I see a lot of y'all black women talking shit about Glorilla and other black women who get nose jobs, but a lot of y'all are contouring your noses and faces to the point where you look masculine. Or we never see your natural hair because it's always under a 40-inch bust down that looks nothing like your real hair texture. The baby hairs, the eyelashes, they don't look realistic either. And of course, you know, baby hairs, eyelashes, hair, that's not as drastic as a nose job. But if you're gonna be talking shit online, on TikTok and these other places about women being self-hating, but you have, you know, the fake hair, the lace fronts, and then I look at your page and that's all you ever have on your social media, you lack awareness too. And you're not as self-loving as you claim to be. And you got work to do on yourself, just like women like Glorilla. And it's okay to admit that. And I don't think...
I mean, that's a harsh truth. This is why, look, I don't go around preaching that. Oh, you won't love yourself. I told you I used to do that. Well, no, I didn't used to say that out loud, but that's what I used to think when I only wore my hair natural. I left that alone years ago when I said, actually, I wear my hair how I want. I don't give a fuck no more. I'm tired of trying to uphold this pro-black, and I can only do this because I gotta love myself completely, and I'm done with this. I'm over it. It's tiring. I'm exhausted. I want to do what I want, and I left that mentality behind. So now I don't give a fuck. I don't look at who hate themselves. You need to love yourself. I don't ever preach that. I don't say that to anybody. I am gonna note if your new surgery looks a mess though. For sure, I'm gonna definitely judge that in my head. But, you know, I let people do them because it's like, how about we just live life and do what we want? You got one life here on this earth. I'll end the video here. Should you love yourself completely and accept who you are naturally, yada yada? Of course, sure. But if you want to make some modifications because there are things about yourself that you don't like, that is your right to do it. It's your fucking life and your money. You ain't got to answer to nobody. People are going to make their judgments and say what they got to say, but it's ultimately your life to live. You got one life. You have a very, very short time here on this earth. Do what you want. Do what you want. That's just my take on the situation. But if you do make these modifications, just be aware that if it don't look right, people are going to tell you, especially putting yourself on the internet. People are going to be very bold and tell you, hey, this looks a mess. You look a hot mess. You should have loved yourself. That's what you get. People are going to say that. So you just got to be aware of what comes with that. But yeah, she spoke a lot of harsh truth. Okay, I don't disagree with much of what she said at all. She's definitely making some valid points. And there are a lot of black women who do get these procedures because they do want to look less black. That's just the reality of the situation. It's sad, but it's true. It's the society that we live in. But y'all let me know what y'all think, though, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.